Welcome back to the channel. Today we are going for a masterclass in cable glanding. Now there is two types of cable glands, BW and CW. Today we're going for CW, which is an outside cable gland. The first thing you should do when you're glanding a cable is put on the shroud. We've all been there where we finally finish the gland, go to put it in where it's supposed to be, and then realise there's no shroud on it, which is an absolute disaster. So try and do your best to put on the shroud before anything else. The tool you see in front of your eyes here is a cable stripper. They sell them on Amazon. They come with 5 extra blades. Now when you're using this, you have to make sure to twist it in the right direction, or you will literally ruin all the teeth straight away without getting any job done. So make sure you're turning that thing in the right direction. Once that's done, you take it off and get the knife out. And when you've done enough of these, you will be able to do this in one go. Didn't happen today for me, but it is very satisfying when you can run the blade the whole way down the swat without a little bit of it coming off. Anyway, then you start removing the steel wired armor cable inside it. That's actually what it stands for, SWA, steel wired armor, which you can see me removing here. Now, when you get down to the end of this, I like to actually cut it off. I just think it's a lot easier to break off the steel wired armor when you're dealing with little pieces instead of long bits hanging up out of the way. So you'll see me in the next clip now starting to break off those bits. If you can bend them 90 degrees from the center of the cable, it tends to be a clean break. Because if you have rough edges, it's a lot harder to get the cable gland on after. Moving on from that then, we're going to get into one of the most important parts of the process here. So everybody needs to listen for this. This is so important, right? Inside a CW gland, there is a ring. And if you take this ring out and put it in the wrong way around, the gland will never go on. And I've done this before. I've made this mistake. If you learn one thing today, make sure that ring does not come out and go on the wrong way, because the gland will not go on, and it is absolutely almost impossible to tell the difference between the right and the wrong way because it looks exactly the same, but there is a difference. Now when you're stripping CW glands, you have to keep that exposed steel wired armor much shorter, so just bear that in mind when you're doing the last bit of stripping. After that then, it's time to put the end of the gland inside the steel wired armor. You pull the ring down on top, and then you bring the rest of the gland over the top of that again and twist it in hand tight. Now I like to go as tight as you can with your hands first before you get the pipe grips involved. Today was absolutely roasting. I don't know if anybody saw the bath in the background of the first few clips there, but I did consider it, lads. I did consider it. Anyway, one of the last tips I'll leave you with when you're doing cable glands as well is if you can get all the rings to line up when you twist them tight, it just means that the shroud will go on way easier than if they weren't in line. Now this probably doesn't matter too much for small cable glands, but when you move up into those big sizes, it definitely does. Anyway, that's been it for me this week. There is a bonus video coming on Saturday or Sunday, so keep an eye out for that as well. Talk to you all next week.